Okay, so here's part 2 of the Get Ready With Me. I have my eyeshadow done. What I want to do is put on my liner. This is the Maybelline Tattoo Studio eye pencil in black. Has like a little smudger brush. I love this one. It's hard to get though for some reason, but anyway. Let's use this on the waterline and do a little baby wing. I like this pencil. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so creamy. Don't get the brown one. It stinks. Unless I got a bad one. It just doesn't have any pigment. But this black one, oof, with the smudger brush, it's amazing. Yeah, I literally order it all the time. I'm just going to smudge it a little bit on the waterline. Just give it a little smudge using the smudger brush. Such a great pencil. I really love it. Okay, so now I'm going to put this back in my little kit that's on the table. I got so much stuff here. Did my eyebrows. Let's use a new mascara that's been going viral on TikTok, and it's also in Ulta. And this is it kind of reminds me of the Sky High mascara. Look how pretty the packaging is. This is the Lash Sensational by Maybelline. And so let's try this. I have no lashes, so I need all the help I can get. Sorry for getting so close. I literally cannot see without my glasses, so it is what it is. It's kind of like a bendy brush. Look, this is what it looks like. It's very bendy. So that's why I say it does remind me of the, Sky High mascaras. And yeah, so, sorry, I'm a little winded. Like I said, I have lung issues, so I'm getting over a bad respiratory illness. I don't know if anybody's ever been on prednisone. Jeez, I went on that. I was on it for about 3 days, like 40 milligrams. It was 20 milligrams twice a day in the morning and it like 8 hours apart. And I don't know, one day I just literally broke out in hives all over my legs and they got all bruised up. They were like bumpy hives. And so I called the doctor, never experienced this before. And they told me immediately stop the medication. So I did. So fortunately, it did break up all the inflammation in my lungs and my asthma symptoms and my COPD, because I have COPD overlap asthma from a rare condition called alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, which is actually a deficiency in the liver. You're deficient with the trypsin. It misfolds, how your body can turn on you. Weird. All different kinds of immune compromisations out there. And it causes your lungs to get diseased if you're around, like if you smoked at all ever. And I did years ago, but it was many years ago before I was even diagnosed. I quit. I was never really a big smoker, but I've always had issues breathing since I was a little girl. And I remember telling my parents, oh my gosh, I can't breathe. They want me to run in school and I can't breathe. It's hard for me to run, Mom, and she was like, well, what do you mean you can't breathe? Back in the day, right? So I finally got diagnosed with this in 2020, non-smoker, and it did cause COPD, which is a form of lung disease, which is not anything that's ever going to be treatable, and it is progressive. So the only way you can, manage it is by taking a medication, an inhaler for COPD, which I do, Breztri. I also have asthma overlap, so I take something for my asthma. I also do nebulizing treatments, and in serious cases when I have a very major exacerbation, like I did just recently from the respiratory illness, I have to be on, oxygen for like emergency situations, not every day. So that's a good thing. But I did get that after I was diagnosed during COVID in 2020. I was in the ICU for about let me go back, about 8 hours. So I got there at like 4 in the afternoon, not being able to breathe. They moved me to the ICU. I was there for about 8 hours being treated. And then I was in the hospital for about a week being treated with, let me take a breath. I was being treated with prednisone, oxygen therapy. And of course, the nurses were coming in and out watching me, making sure I didn't have a heart attack, because the respiratory failure, can cause a heart attack because the lungs and the heart are very closely related. So that's my illness. Everybody has something. So I manage it day to day. Sometimes in the cold, I got to be careful. So I don't go out a lot in the cold, and I do work from home. Thank God I have a accommodation, because it does get bad when I'm walking in the cold and the wind. So I did have to get a doctor's note for that. It's a very serious illness. Now, it is passed down through families. I don't know which one of my parents has alpha 1. They never got tested. And my mom, she's older, so she doesn't want to get tested. My dad's passed a couple of years now. It'll be 2 years this February. So one of them gave me the illness, and one of them gave me a good gene. So that's the only thing that's keeping me alive, believe it or not. I have one good gene and one, bad gene. One normal gene, one good gene. Some people have 2 bad genes, which is even worse. So I'm at MZ. If you look it up, there's different alleles. The MZ is what I have. The Z is the deficient allele, and my deficiency is low. It's like in the 60s. You should be in the hundreds when you have antitrypsin in your liver. You can also get liver disease from this, cirrhosis, even if you never drank. Little babies get it. It's really a very serious condition. But anyway, let's move on. I'm still here, thank God. Knock on wood. So anyway, look at this. So what a transformation. Makeup is just fun. I do it for fun. I know I buy too much. I get it. But again, it's so creative, and it just kind of like relaxes me, and it makes me feel better about myself. Even though I know I really don't need it, I get it, and nobody else does either, especially during these times. You don't need to spend a lot of money, like I said. This is a highlight that I got as a gift from a purchase I made at Ulta. And I'm just going to use that here. And I'm going to put on a drugstore lipstick. That highlighter is a tiny little one from NARS, but I really love NARS. But we're talking about drugstore. Let's move on. So now what we're going to do is our lippy. I've talked about these lifter liner pencils. We're going to try this. This is in the shade On It. There we go. Okay. And again, this is like really cheap. You can get this with coupons at Ulta, and it's drugstore, and it's a really good liner. So I really will, recommend that. The other thing I'm going to show you is these serum lipsticks. You can get them at Target and at Ulta. This is the final step. And this is in the shade 102, Maybelline Serum Lipsticks. This is a satin shade. And this is in the shade Altil 4. Let's try this on. This is a really pretty shade. Look at it. All right. Okay. I really like all these products. They're reasonably priced. You can get this for $7.49. This mascara, I like the mascara. I mean, it needs a few coats, really. But then again, that's my lashes. They're horrible. They flop, I'm not a very hairy person, so. Lashes and brows, my challenge. I have to do quite a few coats to even see it. But this is a good mascara. I would say yes to this mascara. I think it's like $12.99. And I think that's it. We're good to go. Ready for the day. So I hope you have a great day, everybody.